I often hear you, including an interview yesterday with the BBC, calling on a comprehensive peace agreement. Now, we're coming from discussing the Tigray issue, and I'm losing meaning in that. What is comprehensive peace agreement in the Ethiopian context today, where you see the state feeling much emboldened for consolidating power at the center, and a government that doesn't really care about the loss of control in the periphery, just 30 kilometers maybe outside of the capital. And you see insurgent groups asserting themselves and more. What is the appetite of what does comprehensive peace agreement look like? Because both seem to have found their own comfort zone in sustaining the current status quo. Where do we begin when we talk about comprehensive peace agreement?
The starting point should be by appreciating how almost everything has changed in the country. The state has changed, the nature of the way state power is conducted has changed, the way insurgency is conducted is changed from what we knew. The state, Abiy has more absolute power than the Haile Selassie who was appointed by God, who was by law, it's a monarch with unquestionable power, right? But Haile Selassie did not have the kind of monopoly over the state. That's one part. But this state has shrunk into itself. I don't know if it was Charles Tilly or one of the scholars say about state power. State power is measured by its ability to broadcast influence. How much of the territory it controls. Control means how much of the population and territory it is able to tax. How much of that territory it controls over means of violence. How much of it is under its control. That is the capacity of the state. That is state power. Now that has shrunk. Recently I have started to call in the Amhara regime president, the Oromia regime president, Adanich and Abiy, co-mayors of Addis Ababa. They all live there, and they all just decorate the city. Outside the city, their control is very limited. From one district to another district, they don't drive; they have to fly because. So the control of the state has so shrunk. The state capacity, the broadcasting ability of the state has shrunk, but the control of, that power has become, exponentially big. It has turned into one man. So we have a very weak state, whose capabilities, whose muscles are so weak, but hard-headed. Insurgencies. Back in the day, insurgencies, the EPLF, TPLF, OLF, they started from a small nucleus, 5, 10, 15 people, usually at the university campus, get radicalized. They go create the nucleus, then expand, so it's one vanguard that emerges. What we have, not only in Ethiopia, but in Syria, Libya, elsewhere, is a popular protest, a popular uprising descends into insurgency, where self-creating, groups, just young men go to the bush, take weapons. They don't fragment. They start from there. Actually, fragmentation means they were one, they split. No, these insurgents, they are autonomous, self-financed, self-reliant. What they have with the name of with the other insurgencies, they share common name, they share some common narrative. Besides that, the center does not really provide them much of the resources. They mobilize for themselves. They don't really have politics. There is no political organization. There is nothing like, there is no ideology, but they are localized. This is misleading to the state. The state is now misleading to things. That concentration of power makes it as if they are powerful. They are not. It's a concentrated but limited power on some part of the state. It also misleads them in assessing the insurgents. Because the insurgents don't have one unifying leader or politburo. Yes, they're
not seen as a direct threat to the
power
of the center.
Yeah, okay, they don't immediately threaten the capital city because they don't project themselves as a viable alternative. But because they are localized and autonomous, they are highly mobile. They can embed themselves. They are well accustomed to the terrain. They know their society. They are extremely effective as insurgents. And traditional armies like NDF are not accustomed to fighting this kind of war. That's why the army is now drained. NDF, whenever they confront, the NDF beat these rebels. But the rebels have figured out they don't confront them. So what's the impact of this? It's like it's eating the state from every angle. There is an animal called yei, I don't know what's it called. I think wild dog, I think. Like one wild dog will not bring down an elephant. Yeah? Elephant is big. But what do? Many of them just jump on it from different directions. They keep biting, running, right? It might take them 24 hours. But they cut down the muscles and they wear down the big, powerful animal. And finally, either they bring it down or a wind or another bigger animal comes and topple it. So that's what we saw in Syria. Because this kind of insurgencies, what they do is they obstruct economic activities, they obstruct security, so domestic trade, domestic agriculture, foreign investment dries up eventually. And they wear down the army. Eventually the state's capacity gets so consumed that it could not withstand any other change of direction of the wind like we saw in Syria.